What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Creative Rise Podcast. Today is going to be a great episode for a few reasons. We're going to get into a few myths that we want to bust with you, a little bit of myth busters today, and we're going to show you some examples of how people have also busted those myths. So this is just going to be an encouraging episode. Our goal for this podcast is that this encourages you, pumps you up, gets you excited for the future of what your creative business could have and what it could create. So before we get into that, kind of something never been done before in the world of Creative Rise is coming up. This is the first time we're talking about this, so get excited. But in a couple weeks on, I'm like, what month is it? On August 29th, we are actually doing a free training, a virtual training, a live training that you can totally come to, you can plug on into. We're not going to fully expose what it's going to be about yet, but basically it's going to be a training where we're going to highlight a couple new areas of the world of creative business, of just business in general, that are somewhat new or somewhat they've kind of been aggregated, and there's a lot of opportunity there for people. There's a lot of opportunity to make money, and there's not a ton of people doing it. And so if you're someone who's going, I want to add another revenue stream to my business, I want to completely change what my creative business is, I want to even just hear this, even if I'm really fulfilled with what I'm doing, I don't want to change anything or add anything, or I don't want to make more money, it's probably not you. You're probably not listening to this podcast if that's you. But regardless of any of those things, you're going to want to be there. So mark it in your calendars, August 29th. Tons more info coming for you. Again, it's a free virtual, basically just like a big Zoom meeting we're going to do and hang out. But
it's going to be so good.
It's going to be really exciting. So we're really excited with that. We've not talked about that yet other than right now. So tons more info coming. Make sure you're following on Instagram, on TikTok, and even better, text us. 916-587-6417, just so that we can be in touch with you. You can ask us any questions, and that way you're first to know when we release the details on the training, because you're going to want to be there if you want to make more money this year. So that's really exciting. Other than that, same day, the waitlist gets access to the mastermind, which is pretty crazy. So if you want to join the next round of the Creative Rise Mastermind, round 8, it's going to be phenomenal. Tons of modules, tons of community stuff. Crazy cool accountability pods you're going to be put in. So 6-week incubator to grow your business.
Yeah. And we got a brand new social strategy that we're releasing in this mastermind this round only. Yeah. So a new bonus.
A new bonus.
It's going to be sweet.
It's actually like we built it for TikTok. It's like a TikTok specific brand strategy.
But it'll help you in all areas of social.
We're really excited to do that. We actually still have to, we've built it out and used it for ourselves, but we've still got to build out the actual, like, the whole course that's going to be given away for free for people. So, if you jump into the mastermind, that's an extra little bonus. So haven't said that either yet, but there you go. A couple firsts today on the podcast. Couple firsts. So guys, let's get into today's episode. So we're talking about a couple different myths that people believe, which stops them from having success. So I hope this episode is going to be encouraging for you. I hope if you believe any of these myths, it shows you a brighter future. It shows you a brighter reality around these myths. And so there's a couple of reasons why people don't succeed. But again, for a lot of people, it comes down to the way they think, right? They believe certain things about themselves. They believe certain things about their work ethic. They believe certain things about what's possible, and so we're going to talk about a few, and I hope we can just kind of crack these open and encourage you today.
Because we think that a lot of these myths, you guys, because there are reasons why people don't succeed. Obviously, there's 100 million reasons why people don't succeed. But I think there's some key myths that people believe that keep them from trying. And that's what we're going to try to do today, is myth bust these reasons why you aren't maybe stepping fully into what you could be doing because you're letting these myths stop you.
And that could look like, you're believing a couple myths and it's keeping you at $70K a year rather than being at your first 6 figures. Yeah. Or it's keeping you at 6 figures rather than going to 200K. Yeah. Or it's keeping you at 20K when you want to be at 50, right? Or it's keeping you at 0. When you're listening to this podcast, maybe this is your first time today and you have not yet started your creative business, these myths could probably be keeping you down. So.
And we're going to go through 4 stories of people that we have walked with that have beaten these myths, have said these myths aren't true, and I'm going to step into it and I'm going to try and I'm going to go for it, and they've come out really successful. And so let these stories not make you sad or discouraged, but really encourage you as we walk towards success all together. Yeah. Because to be honest, people are doing it. people are succeeding every single day in the creative industry. So the opportunity for you is there, whatever it is, whether it's your destination wedding photography business, whether you're a social media manager, whether you're wanting to work for just these dream brands or companies, or if it's just, hey, I want to hit multi 6 figures in the next year, whatever it is, we want to bust some myths. So here are the 4 myths, success myths, and 4 stories of people breaking it.
So number 1, this is so common. This is probably one of the biggest myths I think people think when they first start their creative business. And it is, if I get good enough at the creative side, the business will just build itself.
Oh, this one grinds our gears.
It's such a myth, because we all know people. I used to be famous for saying this. I am not the most creative person.
That is true.
At all.
No offense. That is true.
Thank you.
You are really good, though.
But there's so many people around me that are way more creative. But more often than not, a lot of the people that are so focused on their creativity and honing their creative craft, and even though there's a time and place for that, it does not mean your business will grow. Because having great photos or having a great video or being able to do sound design really well does not mean that you understand how to market, how to nurture leads, and then how to actually sell leads, and then deliver on that service, right? It's a totally different game. So this has got to be probably the biggest gateway myth, I would say, that stops most people from like getting to their first, let's call it maybe $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Here's a story for you. A friend of the show, friend of Creative Rise, community member of Creative Rise. He was actually in the first ever Creative Rise Mastermind. Legend, great guy. His name's Victor. I want to read to you what Victor said about this myth in his life and what kind of helped him overcome it, okay? Because he's like, he would say this. He's like, oh, I'm like the poster child for I thought that if I got good enough at the creative side of it, business would just work. And his creative is insane.
Oh,
he's one of the best photographers I've ever seen. This is what he said. I was of the belief that if you practice your craft enough, the work will come. Been there, said that. Anybody?
Been there,
I've said that.
that.
I definitely, there's been times where we've all said that, right?
Yeah.
I now know that's not true. There was a whole other side to the business. I learned how to conduct a proper photography business, how to pitch, how to reel in clients, and how to maintain those clients through the power of joining in Creative Rise. Do not doubt it. Victor Arden. Great guy. So this is an example, guys, of somebody who is at the peak of their creative game. Like, there is literally few photographers, I would say, I enjoy seeing their work as much as I enjoy his. Like, he's worked for, here's a couple examples. Victor's now worked. So when he went through the mastermind round 1, it totally changed his perspective. He's now worked with people like Toyota, WestJet, Columbia, LifeStraw, and many more. He's actually, I remember he sent me this once. He's like, bro, I just hit a $15,000 month. Like, he's going into like multiple 5-figure months. Like, that's incredible. He's traveling around the world shooting, doing what he loves, doing massive projects, because he realized the creative side is only a part of the picture, and it's actually not the most important part of the picture.
Yeah.
Even though he's phenomenal at it, he's gone, okay, I have to channel more of my focus into the fact that I could be so good creatively, but if I'm not understanding of business and then, tactically implementing it, it's not going to work. So that's myth number 1, is that you think if you just get good enough at the creative, the work will come. And there's a portion of that can be true, but does not build a business. It does not build a business with longevity. So
yeah, I love Victor. I love Victor's story.
He's a great dude.
So good.
Such an amazing story.
Okay, myth number 2. You have to start by making no money and slowly climb your way up. That is myth number 2, that you have to make no money at the beginning and that you just have to grind for like years and work on it, and then finally you'll be able to be successful.
So common.
So common. I think this is one of the most common beliefs. Guys, meet Becca, okay? Becca came into one of the rounds of the mastermind working a graphic design job. She just graduated from university, working a 9-to-5, kind of making that like lower level entry income. And she was just like, man, I love what I do, but I don't love the situation that I'm in. And I really want to get out and start my own thing, but I'm nervous to leave my job, which I think is what so many people are in. They've got some safety net job that they're in, but they have this passion side project, but they're like, I can't leave it because I can't afford to not make any money for years.
What I said yesterday?
What?
I was at that men's night thing I was at the other day.
Yeah.
And we were sitting around a fire, and I literally looked at somebody and said, bro, a salary is the ticket for you to forget your dreams. I literally word for word said that. Kind of goes with what you're saying.
It
but
honestly
is true, right?
does.
It gives you a sense of security that
Yeah.
makes you go, well, I'll take the security and forget everything I actually want to do with my life.
A false sense of security, as we
Yes.
like to say. So this is what Becca said. This is what her story is, word for word. She goes, I made it my goal to leave my 9-to-5 when I joined the Creative Rise Mastermind, totally thinking it would be months before I could actually accomplish that. 3 weeks into the mastermind, 3 weeks into the mastermind, I quit my job and went full time with photography and design. Fast forward a few months and I'll be celebrating my first 6-figure year at the end of this year, and I'm forever changed because of it.
And this was like 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Becca
so
has now gone to do multiple 5-figure months. She's hired on her partner. They're doing business together.
Got a team of 4.
Team of 4 people, and they're crushing it. They're crushing it. They're helping other people build their businesses. It's super cool. She and Marcelo are awesome. And this is Becca 3 weeks into the mastermind. She was currently at another job, and she was like, you know what? I'm just going to invest in myself. I'm going to go for it. It's going to be months probably until I start getting enough clients to actually start making it. 3 weeks in, quits her 9-to-5, and then hits 6 figures in her first year. That's super inspiring. But that's what happens when you go, you know what? I'm actually just going to make the jump and believe that I can get clients, make money enough that I can leave a job actually really quick.
And the formula to do that was she was being educated, right?
Yeah.
Because the mastermind is so full of everything you need to be able to make that jump.
Yeah.
Or to even make the jump from your first 50K to 100K or 100K to 150K. It's got all the education in there for that. But most importantly, she was surrounded by people that were like, Becca, we got you.
Yeah.
Go for it. We've got you. You're in this community. We're all going to celebrate with you. We're going to support you.
Yeah.
And there's such a big accountability aspect to the mastermind, right?
Totally.
So she was being kept accountable to the things that she said she was going to do, which helped her just totally fast track her success and shortcut a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that is number 2. That is really, really important. Myth number 3 is that you cannot grow a business in a recession. Okay. When COVID hit at the very beginning, we had DMs on DMs on DMs of people saying, what the heck do I do?
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. Now, that was a global pandemic that triggered a recession. We actually just entered another recession. By the time this podcast is coming out, the Fed just came out and said we are officially in a recession. Now, what does that mean? It does not really mean much. It doesn't really mean much for you. Inflation is much, scarier than a recession. Recession, I think we were down I can't even remember the number, but the percentage that our GDP slid back, which is basically how much the company made versus how much our country spent versus how much our country made in the last quarter was it was such a small decline. But yes, we are officially in a recession, and with a recession comes a lot of fear mongering.
Yeah.
People get they grasp for security, and we all assume, not all of us, but a lot of people assume, well, you cannot grow your business in a recession. And here's the truth. The reality is most innovation, most change, most you could even say exponential growth for a lot of people comes in a recession.
Yeah.
If you look at the last big recession, 07 through 08, 09, Facebook became a thing, Snapchat became a thing, Uber became a thing, all these different things became a thing because it allowed people to go, okay, we're coming into an economic change here. What are the new opportunities? What can I do? Blah, 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 blah. That's actually kind of exactly what the thing on the 29th is going to be talking about too, is, what are some of the new opportunities based on the current economic climate that we're in and, all that stuff. So definitely August 29th, make sure you put it in your calendar. We're going to talk more about it. You want to be on that call. But here's the reality of people that grow in a recession or in any kind of economic or even health pandemic type thing, right?
Yeah.
It's possible for people to grow. People who go, okay, what's the current climate? What new opportunities are there? And how can I grasp onto those and solve some of those problems, right? Every recession causes new problems. It means there's opportunity for new solutions. Here's a great example. Meet Kalen, okay? Kalen's been on the podcast. Phenomenal guy. He's a grad from the 6th round of the Creative Rise Mastermind. He spent years going to school to become a therapist, and he actually became a therapist. Super cool. Only to realize that he wanted to pursue photography outside of his traditional 9-to-5. So he got connected with us, and he was like, hey, I think I should jump into this mastermind thing. I kind of want to, really go for this thing. And we were like, you should totally go for it. You're talented, and it sounds like you want it. This was during COVID. by the way.
Like shut
this
down
was like
Canada
shut
COVID.
down Canada COVID. If there's ever a time when you think you would not be able to succeed, it's now, okay? Here's what he said. When I started the mastermind, I had just quit my salaried career to become a full-time creative professional. 2 months in, I had no work, lacked confidence in pitching, and had no clarity surrounding my brand or personal story. Within 5 months of completing the course, I'm now booking clients that have over 5 figures. I'm now booking months that have over 5 figures of income without sacrificing my personal life. Worth the investment. So crazy.
Yeah.
This was beginning of COVID. So this was a couple years ago now too. Kalen has gone on to do incredible stuff. Like his clients are incredible. The consistency in his business has been incredible.
Yeah.
5-figure months over and over again, which is just phenomenal. We're so proud of him. But again, Kalen is the perfect example that in a global pandemic, in a economic downturn, in a recession, there is always opportunity to grow your business. Yeah. If somebody in the first 5 months of starting their own business and going through the mastermind is hitting 5-figure months, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Super, super cool.
Really
so
cool.
Kudos to you, Kalen. We're super proud of you, man.
Yeah. Don't let the recession affect your ability to seize the opportunity, because I believe the recession is the best time to start a business personally. Okay. Last myth. I can succeed alone just as well as I could with a community. Ooh, this one hits home for so many. Okay, meet Sam. Sam's from Australia. Incredible creative videographer in the wedding space. Just solid guy. And he came into the mastermind having a great wedding business, but having like more dreams for what it could be. Feeling a little bit stuck. Feeling like, okay, I'm like kind of grinding. I'm not quite getting weddings where I want to be. I want to be getting like destination out of the country stuff, but right now everything's in my area. I've got dreams of like moving away, all of this stuff. So this is what Sam's experience was. Oh man, where to start? Joining Creative Rise was by far the best investment I made in my business. From the first welcome call to the final group call, the energy and motivation from Joey and Christy and everyone in the mastermind was incredible. I learned more about running a business and having an ideal mindset as an entrepreneur in the 6-week mastermind than I did throughout all of school and university.
I love that.
Seriously.
That's like my favorite thing people say about Creative Rise when they say that.
Better than university. That should be our hashtag. It didn't matter which problem I had in my business. Each and every member of the mastermind was there and ready to help push me through them and get the results I wanted. I love that. I have honestly never felt that level of encouragement and support from my community, from any community before. During the first few weeks of the mastermind, thanks to Joey and Christy's coaching and guidance, I made $11,000 in sales. Without them and the community in the mastermind that I now call family, I don't think I ever could achieve this. If you are unsure if this is meant for you or if you can afford it, like I was before I joined, take it from me. It will change your life and business around and open more doors and opportunities than you can even imagine. Like, that just like warms my heart, because I'm like, dang, people, when they really hop into a community, now not just any community, but a community of people that are like-minded, are ready to encourage you when you have success and are ready to encourage you when you have setbacks, you will start succeeding in ways you could have never imagined.
In a community that's being led, right? I think that's the biggest thing about the mastermind is that we are so bought in to go, okay, we need to lead these people. We need to like make sure the community is healthy. We need to encourage people. If you're in a community with people and everyone's at the same level, everyone has the same problems, no one's ever been where you want to go, those are still great communities to be in, but you're not going to see the growth that you're going to get when you're in a community where you have people leading you through the community, right? Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing about the Creative Rise community, right? And that's where Sam's going, hey, like that was phenomenal and game-changing for me. I love how he said, if you're unsure if this is meant for you or if you can afford it, nobody thinks they can afford anything, right? Yeah. We hear it all the time. People always say, oh man, I don't know if I can join the mastermind. I don't think I can afford it. I go, great. 90% of the people that join it say they probably couldn't afford it. Yeah. Right? But the reality is, just like Sam, everyone goes, I'm either going to stay the same or I'm going to find a way to get resourceful and jump on into this thing. And then they go, wow, like, look what I've just made. This was Sam in 4 weeks. It wasn't even the entire mastermind. In 4 weeks, he had made 11 grand. That's like 5x, 6x his investment, basically. Yeah. Like, that's crazy, in such a short amount of time. And that's the reality of going, how do I get resourceful so I can jump into something that I know is going to be a great investment for me, because it's investing into the stuff between my ears, right? It's helping me, come up with new strategy, get supported, get the tricks and tips, that are actually really working right now. So I love that. Sam's a legend. It's like a golden retriever.
It's such a golden retriever energy. Such a myth buster too. That phrase that everyone always says, they're like, oh, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I'm like, no, if you want to go fast, go with other people. They help carry the load. Like, they help fix your problems,
100%.
help you break down the barriers that are in your own journey on the road, and help you get where you want to go faster. So that is our last myth that we just wanted to bust open for you.
So if you're ready to bust some myths, we would love for you to bust some myths. A great way to bust some myths is keep listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Weekly, right? We drop episodes weekly. It's basically every episode we go, what's a myth? What's a problem that people face, and how can we overcome it? Keep listening to the podcast. But most importantly, if you're someone who's going, hey, I really know that I want to be a myth buster, we start calling people Creative Rise myth busters. I'm going to make a t-shirt that says Creative Rise myth buster. And if you crush, we're going to send you one. Point of the story is, if you're going, I want this year to be the best year of my life. I want next year to be the best year I have in my business. And you've got some myths you need to bust. We all have myths we need to bust in different ways, right?
Yeah.
You've got to join round 8 of the Creative Rise Mastermind. I'm so dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. Guys, you guys hear Christy and I talk about this all the time on the podcast. And it's because you're probably like, oh, why do they talk about it so much? Well, it's because we want you to join it, obviously. Why do we want you to join it? Because it literally changes people's lives.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
We just gave you 4 great examples of people, and we could go on and on and on with these examples.
Yeah.
4 great examples of people who have had their lives change. Victor went from somebody who did not have any work, so talented, to now being someone who has constant work, making great money, doing what he loves, right? Becca went from someone working a 9-to-5, who did not like her 9-to-5, getting underpaid, to now doing mass amounts of income each month and running a team of creatives.
And getting to work with her partner.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Phenomenal, right? Kalen went from someone who was working a job he thought he was going to love, realized he felt called out of that, into doing something that was going to give him more freedom with his time, more freedom with his creativity, and was going to pay him more. I remember he said, man, if I could ever make the same amount of money I was making as a therapist, that'd be amazing. And he's well surpassed that. It changed his life, right? And then you get down all the way to the bottom, and you got Sam, someone who's just so excited and he's so fired up to do this thing, but he's like, I've got some problems, and as long as I have these problems, I'm not going to be seeing the growth I want in my business. He jumps into the mastermind, totally changes the way he thinks about stuff. He said it was better than all of his schooling and university together in 6 weeks. A 6-week program was. That's insane. It changed his life. So the reason why we talk about this all the time, we're not trying to always hard sell you guys or some whatever. I know it can be an interesting space, the online world, when you hear about all these people talking about their programs. I always make jokes that we're OGs in this, because the Creative Rise Mastermind alone, this program, this 6-week mastermind, has been around for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was August 2019. That's insane. Literally, I feel like we were before everyone started doing these types of things. And so we're not talking about this because we're like, oh, we want you to do this because of our own whatever gain. This is all for you guys. The only reason Creative Rise exists is because I sat down one day and went, oh my gosh, I feel like I've figured a few things out. I've got more stuff to figure out, but I really want to make sure I can share what I figured out, because I want other people to enjoy the freedom that owning a good creative business has given me. Same thing with Christy.
Yeah.
That is the only reason why Creative Rise exists, is we believe you deserve to break the creative struggle, right? We believe that, a world where more creatives succeed at doing what they love would be a much better world. And so we want that for you. And the mastermind is the best vehicle for us to help take you there. And so we are so excited for round 8.
Yeah.
It's going to push us over 200 people. The last mastermind we did, I'm a little bit of a math nerd. So every time, this is one of the things we do, if you make any money, whether it's $1 or whether it's $10,000 while you're in the mastermind, we tell you to go into our Instagram group chat, and you do a little bell emoji and say, ring the bell, and you say how much money you made, what the project was, and then what's one thing you learned from the experience of booking that gig. Everyone gets to celebrate you, and everybody gets to learn. I'm on the other side of the phone calculating everything, and I save everything. I actually screenshot it all and put it into a folder, and then I add it up at the end. The last mastermind, The last group of people that went through the mastermind made $249,800, $250,000 in 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
That is insane. So myth number 5, it's not actually written down here. We didn't talk about this. Myth number 5, creatives don't make money. They made $250,000 in 6 weeks. The last Creative Rise group. Yep. That's insane. If you want to be around people who are going, we're going to be the group that makes the next $250,000, get into the mastermind. I'm telling you, it's going to change so much inside of your head. It's going to change so much externally in your business. And because your mind changes, your business changes, your life changes, which is phenomenal. Yeah. And that is exactly why Creative Rise exists. So how do they get in?
Yeah, so if you're pumped on this and you're like, I want to know more, all you have to do is go to creativerise.com. There's buttons everywhere to join the waitlist. So basically what's going to happen is you join the waitlist. You're going to start getting some emails from us giving you more information. You'll get $100 off. You're going to get early access, but it's application only. So we're going to open up applications August 29th to the waitlist. So put that in your calendar. It's the same day as the webinar. So you also put that in your calendar. We're going to open up applications. You can apply right on August 29th, and then we will get back to you that week. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. And you can claim your spot.
Really easy. Get on the wait list. We'll send you more info. You'll get the application on the 29th, and then you can jump on in.
Perfect.
Super fun. Guys, we're so glad you spent some time with us here today. Please let this encourage you guys. The myths can be broken.
Yeah.
You can do it. It is possible to be successful as a creative. And I'm speaking to you if you're just starting, and I'm speaking to you if you're already making 6 figures and you're going, how do I keep this thing up? How do I make sure it's going to be, it's going to have some longevity to it? Like, we're talking to everybody when we're talking about this. This podcast was not just for people at the beginning. This is for everybody. So we just want to encourage you, keep hanging around. Just keep consuming what we're doing. We do this for you guys. So next week, we're going to have a great episode. Cannot wait for next week's episode. You're going to love it. Other than that, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.